Hey everybody, welcome to Song Tripping. I'm Jim. I'd like to do another listening log for Tuesday, July 2nd, 2024. Some show and tell. Here's what I've been listening to. Here's a few records also that I am unhauling. I'm going to start with the unhaul records. I've been going through vinyl rips of these Oldies compilations that I've gathered over the years, and I don't need them on these stacks anymore. I don't have the room. So they're getting ripped, they're getting added to YouTube Music. And the first up is a Columbia House compilation called the Sensational 60s. You don't get the track list on the back, so we have to go to the record label. It's a double album, by the way. So we'll start with side one. Let's see if you can see that. Side two. It's a nice mix of songs for sure. Pop, some sort of easy listening type pop. Side three starts with Johnny Cash. And side four, right there. So yeah, there's tracks that jump out for me here. Well, the Alley Cat, I always like that instrumental. Guantanamera by the Sandpipers. You even have The Stripper on here by David Rose. Johnny Cash, Folsom Prison Blues. You get the Singing Nun. Scott McKenzie with San Francisco, Be Sure to Wear Flowers in Your Hair. So these are just major hits. It's My Party by Leslie Gore. King of the Road. You get two Bird songs, which is nice. Man Who Shot Liberty Valance by Gene Pitney. A Mike Douglas song, which is a strange one, called Men in My Little Girl's Life. Daddy's Girl. Yeah, Blame It on the Bossa Nova by Edie Gourmet is a nice one. I Left My Heart in San Francisco by Tony Bennett. Girl from Ipanema. Sunny, Bobby Hebb. So it's all around a nice compilation. Didn't sound too bad. It's ripped. I'm going to get rid of it. Next is Golden Goodies Volume 12, the original hits. And here's what we got on that one. See some deep tracks on here, at least stuff that I'm not so familiar with. I mean, Stay is maybe the only one that I really know well. So this was kind of a fun listen. And it's on the Roulette label. Also, the original rock and roll hits of the 1950s, Volume 3. And here's what you have there. This one sounded pretty good, despite the cheesy cover. The Chuck Berry sounded good. The Moonglows. Do You Want to Dance? Bo Diddley's on here with his song. Etta James. Nice. And last that I ripped and we'll be getting rid of is Oldies But Goodies, Volume 7. More original recordings of the greatest rock and roll hits of all time. It's got a nice sort of gold and red color scheme. And this has, well, let me show you the track listing. Tequila's on here by the Champs, Runaround Sue. And Donna by Richie Valens. Jerry Butler. Nice sounding one. Don't need to keep it. It's going to be donated. All right, so those are my oldies. They're kind of fun. I'm really building a nice library on my YouTube Music. Next up is an album, the Byrds Greatest Hits on vinyl. This one goes way back for me. Yeah, it's when I was young and I was just starting to explore music that was out of my near field of vision, like stuff that had just come out or stuff that was just a few years old. I started going backwards into the mid to earlier 60s. and the Byrds was one of the first groups that I was exploring. So I had this as a teenager, and I used to listen to it a lot. And it's their first wave of their fame, so all their major stuff is on there, and it sounds nice. Then I bought a few new vinyl records. I've been so impressed with these Beatles reissues from 2012 or so, that I just didn't have any of these until this year. And since I have the new Fluence turntable, things have been sounding so much better in vinyl land. So I've been just increasingly impressed. And this Rubber Soul in stereo sounded very, very, very good. Very good. Liked it a lot. I'm sure there's better pressings out there, and you can recommend some in the comments. This one is pressed in the EU. I understand that those are better quality pressings than the ones they made in the United States. So that's a consideration. Lately, when I look at the new bins, it seems to be all the German-made ones that are available. Also, another newbie is Pink Floyd Atom Heart Mother. These are the remasters that have come out. Remastered from the original analog tapes by James Guthrie, Joel Plant, and Bernie Grundman. It's a gatefold cover. Hypnosis did the album design. This isn't my favorite Pink Floyd album. It's not honestly an album I know too well. I had maybe only listened to this 2 or 3 times before in my whole life. So I thought, let me give it another chance, because the other ones I got, these early mono Pink Floyd's, Piper at the Gates of Dawn and Saucerful of Secrets, which I actually gave a second listen to. It sounded amazing in mono again. I thought, let me give this earlier Pink Floyd album a shot. And I don't think that the recording quality is quite as good as those first 2 albums, just on this first listen to it. And I'm not a huge fan of the whole orchestra with the choir thing. It seems a little spotty, a little thin, and yet it's still Pink Floyd. It's still early Pink Floyd. There's still stuff of interest. There was some good guitar on there, and I will revisit it for sure. I don't regret getting it. And the pressing itself sounds awesome. Nice and quiet, good fidelity, no complaints. Here's a good quality near mint used album I got. Dave Cousins, 2 weeks last summer, which I have on CD, but I never had the vinyl of this. Well, now when I go to the record store and I see something, and this was a pretty good price too, I always look things up in Discogs, because my whole collection is cataloged in Discogs. So if I don't want to buy duplicates unless I'm intentionally trying to upgrade a better quality pressing or something. So I'm pretty sure the CD I have is a remaster. I thought, let's just go back to the original A&M and see how it sounds, and it sounds terrific. Those of you who are Straubs fans, if you don't have this album, you really should run out and get it right away, because it's almost just like listening to a Straubs album. And it's got Blue Angel, which is this 9-minute epic on side 1 that the Straubs have often performed live. And it's one of Dave Cousins' greatest works. And it's not just that song on here that's great. Like, there's a lot of other really good stuff. The acoustic guitars they were recorded really well. His voice sounds great. There's some excellent electric guitar. The name of the guy escapes me, but it's not a member of the Straubs. But some really good in-your-face electric guitar. There's a couple tracks that they get kind of wonky and like playing a lot with the knobs and faders. And the first song on side 2 is maybe not their finest hour, but the other songs on this album are tremendous, and it's really a terrific one. And people don't know enough about it, sadly. 2 weeks last summer, Dave Cousins. Let's move on to CDs. All right, so I don't know why I pulled this off the shelves, but Buddy Holly from the original master tapes. This is widely available. It happens to be mastered by Steve Hoffman of the Steve Hoffman Forum fame, and you just great. It's just great. Like you want it to go on longer is all I could say. Like here's your track listing, but things sounding really good there. Buddy Holly. Anyway, last CD, I got this used the other day. This actually is a compilation, Chimes of Freedom, the songs of Bob Dylan. It's an Amnesty International charity 2 CD set. And I've had my eye on this for years, and I streamed it before. But you can see, like, this came out in, I think, around 2011 or so. But you've got a mix of sort of classic rock artists and then like more contemporary people at the time, but very innovative covers of Dylan songs. So if you love Bob Dylan's work and you want to hear other people singing it, this is really a good thing to check out. Some of the highlights for me were Pete Townshend's Corinna Corinna was very good. Patti Smith's Drifter's Escape. Adele, Make You Feel My Love, live. That was good. Joan Baez with Seven Curses. Jackson Browne does a respectable cover of Love Minus Zero, No Limit. Diana Krall does Simple Twist of Fate at the piano. There's a few missteps on here, like Mariachi El Bronx does Lovesick, but in like a mariachi style. But you know, if that floats your boat, great. Ximena Sariana does I Want You, nice cover of that. Lucinda Williams, Trying to Get to Heaven. So you've got like new and old Dylan covered here. Chris Christopherson does a very simple but nice cover of Queen the Eskimo. Elvis Costello does a nice cover of License to Kill. I'm glad he fished that song off of Infidels. And Mark Knopfler with Restless Farewell. So yeah, nice. That's Chimes of Freedom, the songs of Bob Dylan. Oh, and I left off one of my favorite covers on the album, which was Betty LaVette most of the time. And she curses in the middle of the song, uses like the MF word, and they censor it out. They sort of bleep it out or silence it out. And I know, like, if you stream this album, you're probably going to get that censored version too. But I swear to God, at some point down along the line, I heard the unexpurgated version of that. That's really the first time I heard her do the song, and it knocked my socks off. And it made me. That's what made me want to get the album. I was like, oh, I love that. And of course, she went on to do a very fine Bob Dylan covers album, which I have back here in the stacks on vinyl. Recommend that. So anyway, that catches me up pretty much on the listening for Tuesday, July 2nd. What have you been listening to? Love to hear your reactions to some of these albums. If you have recommendations, leave a comment. Thanks for watching.